Good afternoon. Welcome back to Three Swords Gaming. So we are continuing our Guild Wars 2 personal story playthrough. Just left off a few minutes ago with us having finally met the director of the inquest. That is the leader of the inquest. So we came here chasing the inquest because we didn't, they went on this expedition to Castora and we didn't know why, and it seemed like shenanigans. So we decided to follow them, find out what's going on. And after encounters with Seb and Kuda and a giant crab, we followed them inland. And while trying to run down Seb and Kuda, we find a little party time mech and try to repair him, and we encounter Director Vlox. And much to potentially to your surprise, contrary to the way Guild Wars 2 normally does their villains, there's something nuanced and something somewhat intelligent there, and he appears to be trying to do something for the greater good and wants our help. And so there is potentially even a little bit of a dilemma here for the commander on how seriously the commander should take this and where to go next. So we are about to go meet Ritlock, Saida, and Kanak at the hunting camp to discuss this matter with them. Before we did that, I wanted to start out here by this hero point because it's another pretty good one in my opinion. So it was bugged the first few days of the X-Pack and then they fixed it. This Inquest machine is half broken. You could finish breaking it or at least power it down. Okay. There's a control panel and some buttons. Seems like you probably power it down from here. Now if we look around for instructions, it will tell you how to do the hero point. I know how to do the hero point. And so we're going to skip that. It relies on another minigame that they've done in the past. They did this in Season 3. They did this in Season 4. They did it in Path of Fire. But in all those cases, it was something visual you could see. Here it's purely numerical, which is when you turn a thing on, it also affects, or off, it affects the other two things on either side of it. And we'll get to see that again. It's a very simple but somewhat gratifying puzzle. So see, there are 5-digit spaces, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When we switch one, the ones on either side of it will also switch. Now, if it's one of the edge ones, that means only one to the side will switch. If it's like one of the others, then two will switch, right? So kind of a fun little game here. So we'll do the one all the way on the... We'll flip this 0 to a dash. That'll flip this dash to a 0, right? Actually, no, I digress. That's not what we want to do. Let's do the fourth one instead. All right? See, so it flip that, flip that, flip that. Now we hit the third button, flip those to dashes. There we go. It would have been interesting, potentially, if they had even gone for 7 places versus 5, and really kind of leaned into, getting players to kind of stretch their legs on that one a little bit. I think that would have been a lot of fun, but I may be in the minority on that, and some players may have found that frustrating. Traditionally in the past, they've done it with either 4 or 5. Although actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, they did it with 8 in Season 3 when what's-her-face, Livia, was like locked into the little bloodstone thing. It was 8 in a cube.
This place is pretty incredible.
In Season 4, it was 3, 4, or 5 as you progress through an Asura lab. So, anyway, okay, we are here. Ah, there's our crew. Hi, friends.
Well, Commander, it sounds from your story like you've got yourself another admirer.
Makes no difference to me what Vlox claims to want. He's the target all the same.
Makes some difference. I definitely understand what he's saying. Not hard to imagine a better Tyria than the one we have.
Oh, come on, Ritlock. He's leading the inquest. Have you seen what Zeb is doing?
Remove every monster from the legions, and there'd be no legions left. Same goes for the Sly crew.
That's not a fair... I mean, we don't even know if he's telling the truth.
If I may interject as the resident ex-radical of this ensemble, It seems clear that Vlox believes what he's saying. There would be easier paths to power if he didn't. The real question is what he's willing to do for his ideals.
Got any insight on this, Commander?
I think we need more information. We can judge Vlox's motivation once we know what his plan is.
A thought on that. Those monstrosities that Seb has been creating are clearly controlled remotely. That means there's some kind of connection there we might be able to get some information from. So, is harvesting cybernetic reptile brains outside your wheelhouse, Commander?
Is anything at this point?
Yes, I had forgotten. We're going to go harvest some brains. But before we do that, let's talk real quick about the dialogue. So, I'm glad that they have the Ritlock character here saying the things that the Ritlock character says. I feel like in the past, more often than not, we get a lot of like Saida's angle here, and that's what drives the commander. And the commander's like, well, they're not doing what I would do. They're a bad guy, and it actually makes the commander. I've said in the past during story playthrough that the commander's the worst character in Guild Wars 2. I stand by it, by the way. Here we get Ritlock saying things that make a lot of sense, and that are intended to make a lot of sense, but at the same time intended to make Vlox a somewhat sympathetic, personage within this story here. I think the best thing Ritlock says is remove every monster from the legions and you have no legions. And I think that's a great comment. And today on Veterans Day, I think it's a fantastic comment about the military in general. Having spent 21 years in the Army, there's a lot of trash that gets praised today for defending this nation. And I stand by that statement as well. Feel free to come at me on that one. And it reinforces the whole Vlox dilemma in the first place. If Vlox's motives are good, doesn't matter how he gets there. If the end result is good, does it even matter what his motives are? And it seems that that is never decided until after the fact. History decides that. People don't at the time. And it's a particular timely point in world history to kind of examine that question and to give thought to that. And we have Ritlock saying it here, and it resounds significantly more powerfully and stronger than anything Saida has to say. She really comes off as exceptionally weak here, and I think some of that is by design. I think they wanted her to come off a little bit weak here because they want you to entertain what Ritlock is saying, and I can appreciate that. Also, I do think, again, we have a conversation where one character is better written than another, and I think in this case, Ritlock's character is better written, as better dialogue than Saida's character for this particular piece. But I do think that overall conversation, I should be clear, I appreciated that whole conversation because I think it's good framing for what what we're trying to communicate is going on with the commander and with I'm kind of in the middle of two things here at once, an event and my story stuff. That was dumb of me. Oh, this is unfortunate. So I was just fine with the conversation as a whole, even if I didn't love Saida's role in it, because it was probably like a necessary role to make the entire thing kind of make sense, right? Let's get across the lake, river, whatever this is. Oh, are you doing a thing, or are you not doing a thing? Well, I jumped right into that, didn't I?
We'll have to hit much harder. Clear the air.
It's too bad I'm not coordinated enough to do those pet skills
Feel the fury.
without mouse clicking. I'd be a significantly better ranger if I could. Oh well. Such is life. Let's find more. Oh, there we go. We got 3 of them. There's no way this goes bad.
Hurts, doesn't it?
Is this going to put us over the top on these? I kind of hope so. Yeah, there we go. Oh, we don't even get to grab that other one after. Oh. Should we... How high up is it? Yeah, we're right here. May as well grab the mastery point while we're here, right? So a bunch of them on this map I grabbed when I was working on advancing the masteries. Because I went all over this map on my Necro. But this is apparently one that I didn't grab. Might as well. It's a nice spot for a mastery. Look at this. With the waterfalls all around us. Got a beautiful view. I like it. Oh, speaking of masteries. Alright, so now we'll start getting map currencies from harvesting. So that's a positive thing, a thing that we want to have happen. So you can be sure I will start gathering resources with some regularity. Even though I don't have any aspirations for like crafting a legendary on this account. I mean, I entertained the idea in the past with Bifrost, but certainly not, you know, one of the VOE legendaries. Canuck and friends. Ritlock and Canuck, and I guess Saida too. I have the brains.
This is quite a haul you've got here, Commander. Let's see what I can get out of them.
Let me know when you find something. In the meantime, there are more creatures out there that need to be dealt with.
More creatures that need to be dealt with. So this is part of a stretch in the story where they give us like multiple chores, like kind of all at once. Like, or not all at once, but like back to back to back. So we get the brains, and then we're gonna do this, and I think we're really close to doing the next like scavenger hunt as part of the story, or you know, collection. The next collection. Oh wait, I'm like attacking it. I'm supposed to be tampering with it. Which is, I've seen a lot of players aggressively complaining about this in map chat. Early in the expansion, it wasn't quite as noticeable because so much was going on in map chat. But as the expansion's gone on, and some of the, you know, just some of the first few days chatter, which can be like a lot, has dwindled down. I've seen a lot of people just really like unhappy with it. And I disagree with them in terms of the... I don't think it's as bad as they're making it out. I agree it's a little unfun at times. I still think it's better than the green bar. And I'm probably not going to back off on that. Like, I'm probably still going to feel that way. You know, 2, 3, 4 years from now, as I look back on this expansion, I'll probably still feel like doing a collection is better than doing a green bar. And I'm to the point where I'm kind of mystified by folks who seem to feel the other way. I mean, and I'm not saying that's, you know, like, that really is something where, like, an individual player can make their own decision. They don't need my help on that. But much like someone buying a certain color paint on their car, and it being, like, objectively ugly, that's how I feel about the green bar thing.
He headed south with Saida. Seems like there's a lot of inquest in some ruins down there. Might want to catch up with them before they get in over their heads.
Okay. Let's find out what Saida and Ritlock, or not, Saida and Canuck are doing at the inquest runs. Now that we've set a bunch of raptors loose, I guess. So there are certain things that are like inevitably ArenaNet. It's their studio culture, and it's their, you know, while we're right here, we're a little ways away from it actually. I was gonna say let's grab the new pet while we're right here, but the new pet is like, let's see, get that, get And over there. Trying to remember where the new pet is. Actually, I think it's like right here. Is that right? Or over here? I don't think we're that far from the new pet. We might be able to see it. Because it's high up. It's like on a cliffside right over here, I think. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, that was totally worth it. Yeah, ArenaNet culture. So one of the things that kind of falls within that is like love for animals, and like it like in the game we are constantly like patting animals on the top of the heads, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, I'm not encouraging like cruelty to animals or something. It's just an ArenaNet shtick.
Do you hear yourself? We're talking about the inquest.
And once they'd have said, do you hear yourself? We're talking about Canuck. You have to at least consider the possibility that your enemy is making a good point.
Well, we can be sure there's no inquest in Airshot, or you'd have been ambushed already. Found anything yet?
Not yet, but we have to be close. Lead the way.
Alrighty. Alrighty. Oh, I get on my sky scale and they both get on their bug skimmers.
More intruders!
Ambush! So maybe they were too loud. Maybe they are the reason. Alright, let's make sure we kill these animals here while we do this.
And I don't
Just
believe
despite
that.
ArenaNet.
That doesn't excuse working with the inquest. Having a worthy cause doesn't mean you can just join up with a bunch of violent criminals.
My dear, you're a pirate.
Alright, so we get dialogue during the fight, which is a real questionable design decision. And it's clearly meant to be triggered by the fight. Which again,
So what are you proposing we do, Canuck? Just take Vlox at his word?
I'm merely suggesting we don't need to slam that door shut. Perhaps we can work with him. It'd certainly be easier, no?
I think it's meant to be organic. Like, it's meant to be like this conversation is happening as we do things. But doing it right in the middle, and I'm not just talking about someone making a video, right? Doing it right in the middle of a fight also means that a lot of players are going to be, you know, focused on the fight, and depending on their volume settings, not able to hear the dialogue over the fight. So, questionable decision making there. And speaking of questionable decision making, so we get the 2 points. We get Canuck kind of more in Camp Ritlock saying, hey, you know, it needs to at least be considered that Vlox is to be taken seriously on this. And then we get Saida, who seems to feel like Vlox is unquestionably a villain. It's actually weird that they chose Saida for that. Of all the characters they could have gone with. I understand they wanted Saida in this expansion because of like the piratey sailing stuff. But is she the one that we want advocating? And I think when they looked at their options, they said, oh, you know what would be kind of crazy? If we made Saida the one who advocated against Vlox, given the fact that she's a
Looks like
pirate
the
captain.
have got themselves in trouble here.
And who better than us to get them out?
Yes, let's get the Priory out of trouble. We'll jump right on them with our War Claw, but it won't hurt them. Because they're good guys. I'm being a smartass. I'm not advocating for friendly fire in Guild Wars 2. That would actually be pretty awful. I think if I had to guess, they might have picked Saida for that, like, very intentionally to kind of create that interesting conflict. But it also, you know, if they wanted the player to side with Canuck when he calls her out on her hypocrisy, mission succeeded, because it feels tremendously hypocritical and feels like Saida has no self-awareness. So take a moment and ask yourself, certainly you know someone in your life.
Commander, they've been interrogating us for hours and didn't care for our answers.
What were they trying to find out?
They kept asking about the artifact, but they wouldn't specify which one they meant. We've examined so many already, how could we possibly know which one they were looking for? But they wouldn't listen.
Do you need help getting back to camp?
Respectfully, it's more important we resume our work. Can't let them scare us away. Our camp isn't far from here anyhow.
I suppose we should do some looking around ourselves.
It's a good suggestion, Canuck. So you probably know people at work or school or within your life or whatever who are not very self-aware. Do you enjoy being around them? I bet the answer's no. So do they actually want to give us companions that aren't very self-aware? That's like a very risky thing for them to do when they're writing this.
Still here.
But they certainly weren't short on time. These must not have seemed important to them.
Maybe they're not important. Cannot. I don't know. We should ask the Priory, because even though the commander can do literally everything, as far as I know, they're not archaeologists. Although actually you can get the archaeologist title, right? I forget what titles even are. We don't have archaeologists on this account. Be kind of fun to put it up just while we did this, though, huh? Yeah, just food for thought. You know, like something to think about. When you're writing these characters, if you're going to make one be, like, just embarrassingly, like, ignorant to themselves, then you better have other characters that the player can lean into and embrace. And I guess for us, Ritlock and Canuck are those right now, right? So, to some degree, I suppose they did that.
There are 3 different types of arcane scanners here, but not a single brush or chisel.
They weren't studying these to figure out their history or function. They're just testing for how much magic they exude.
They're not here to study the seers, clearly. They're looking for powerful magic.
And it sounds like they might have a specific object in mind.
Let's see what else we can find here.
Alright, let's see what else we can find. I think, if I remember right, we might end up needing to use our skimmer to, like, look for things around here. You'd think Warclaw would still be working, but I guess now that we're away from the Janthier Isles, the Warclaw's nose no longer works. We got a Seer Ostracon over here.
A broken seer tablet. It says something about a ritual site, but not what it was for.
I'm sure they got up to all sorts of rituals around here.
Maybe there's one that's more important than the others? Anyone's guess as to what it would be, though.
Yes. If only there was a seer who could help us. And undoubtedly that's what they want us to be thinking right now, right? Like that clearly is part of the story.
Well, at least someone dealt with a few of them for us.
Doubt it was the Priory. There must still be seer defenses active around here.
Which suggests something important was kept here.
Fair. Fair. Oh no!
Why is it that everything wants to kill you, Commander?
Wither! Rip 'em up! Strength of the pack! Clear the air! I'll break you down!
Nothing else to say right now? Okay, let's keep looking around. We were already down here. Is there any other... Nope. I really don't remember where the other things that we're looking for are. Oh, circle goes this far. Okay, the archway itself.
Such ornate grandiosity. I should really copy this style for something.
Unfortunately, I'm not sure it tells us much about what this place was.
I do agree with Canuck. Like, this kind of stuff, which I think is a modification of assets they use for ore. But, you know, so remember, with both Secrets of the Obscure and Janthier Wilds, like, there was a portion of the player base that just cried to no ends about reused assets. And there was quite a bit of asset reuse, but I didn't think... Like, I was sympathetic to the fact that the studio probably needed to do that to make their time hacks, right? But here, like, this doesn't feel reused, does it? It looks so drastically different. Like, I think it is fundamentally the same asset that we might have seen in Ore, but I think they've altered the coloring of it, which probably isn't like a huge trick, and then they've tacked other assets, that being like these flowers and stuff, onto it to really alter the way it feels. And I think that's like a job well done. And I think, you know, like you could also say, like, probably these palm trees are comparable or same as stuff that was like in Pathfire or Season 4 or something. But they're still, like, this feels like a fresh place. Nothing feels reused.
Don't worry about me, Commander. I don't get rattled that easily.
Good to hear.
Glad to hear it. What have you figured out about this place in the Sears?
We're honestly overwhelmed with the amount of raw information here. It's gonna take some time to draw conclusions from it. Right now, we're just focused on gathering everything up before the inquest can get to it. But if you want to know more about the Seers in general, you should talk to Melissa. No one in Tyria knows more about them than her.
Well, it's clear that the Inquest are searching for a specific artifact, but we're still in the dark about what it is. Maybe this Melissa can shed some light on it?
I believe our scholarly friend was a tad mistaken, though. There is someone in Tyria who knows more about the Seers.
It's worth a try, at least. Iskarin, are you there? We need your expertise immediately. I guess I'll have to seek out mortal insight instead.
Alright. Oh, yeah, we're only 27 minutes into this. Okay, we'll do this. And we didn't need our skimmer. I was just dead-ass wrong. Let's find Melissa? Melissa? I want to make it like a hard Z. Melissa. I don't think that's how the other dude... What was his name? Renato. I don't think that's how Renato pronounced it. Scout Hior. I'm looking for Melissa.
I'm looking for historian Melissa.
Melissa,
Is she around
yeah.
here?
She's on an excavation around here somewhere. But honestly, we're too swamped for me to go look for her. While you wait for her, maybe you can assist us with getting things settled here? Be a big help.
Okie doke. Oh, we gotta do the heart, too. Oh, that is unfortunate. I forgot about that. The heart and the collection are back-to-back. And that doesn't particularly feel good. I prefer the collections over the green bars, but doing the two things back-to-back is probably not optimal. I don't remember what I'm supposed to do with this. Do I... Oh, it causes me to float. Document table. I don't think I'm supposed to put this on document table.
Excavation, research, or defense. Oh, sorry, Commander. I'm a bit overwhelmed here. We need to collect and decontaminate artifacts, deal with the inquest in our camp, and skimmers too.
Oh, that did not give me much heart progress for how much... And I've said this before. Like, I genuinely think that the hearts in expansions are overtuned, and that I think players would engage with them more if they weren't so overtuned. Particularly like the repeatable hearts. I think that was a good idea. I think the repeatable hearts was a really good thing. But most of the hearts feel so bad to do that it's not worth, you know, like any benefit from repeating the heart isn't justified by what you get for it, so like no one's going to do that. And my understanding is that by and large people don't repeat the hearts. Could be wrong, but my like anecdotally what I see people say in like map chat or what I see going on in the world of Tyria is that people aren't redoing hearts. Whereas redoing a heart like in Core Tyria doesn't... Well, you don't redo them on one character, but you might, you know, if you're doing a new map completion, to get a legendary on a new character or something, you know, you're gonna do hearts that you've done before. A lot of players don't enjoy doing all the hearts in Corteria, but each individual heart does not feel nearly as much of a grind as they do in expansions and DLC. So we were in the process of getting an achievement because these different artifacts put different conditions on us. So we got 3 out of the 4 now. Let's see if we can fumble our way towards getting the last one. Not that I care. It's been a long time since I like gave serious thought to like achievement points. A long time. I did when they first rolled out achievement points. The things that you got achievements for at that time were very different than what you get achievement points for now. And the kind of things that they were giving achievements points for at that time were the kind of things that I was already doing. To be fair, things that I don't do so much anymore. But at the time, I was very like completionist, and they didn't have a lot of like combat achievements, combat challenges in the game. So completionism was like, and collections were pretty new then too. So a lot of it was just like kill as many things as possible, and you know,
I could outrun a centaur.
Do things with all the different weapons and stuff like that. So when they rolled out achievement points, I was tremendously, relatively speaking, tremendously high by my standards. Like top 100, 125, somewhere in there in North America. Which is insane because, again, I really suck at the game. I'm under no illusions about that. It's just what achievement points were granted for at that point in time. Oh, this is actually like really hard to... The bubble's really hard to do anything with. Were different than they are now. Also, there weren't a lot of folks who had a lot of achievement points in World vs. World and PvP and PvE and so forth. So it was much easier to have like a larger portion of them. Whereas now it's like very different. So there was a time when I cared about achievement points because I had a lot of them. And for a time, I tried to keep that up. I tried to continue to remain like, you know, within the top whatever within North America or on the NA servers. And very quickly realized that that didn't feel good. Particularly as the nature of achievements changed in the game and they became much more labor intensive, and my life changed and the amount of time that I had for things like that dropped. And I've never had the desire to do structured PvP, so the PvP ones were not something that I was ever really going to give significant effort to. You know, there's a massive amount of achievement points, like several thousand, waiting for me in PvP that I'm just not ever going to get. I'm a little bit closer in World vs. World because I was into World vs. World for a while before finally... Oh, did I just lose the... I didn't get it here in time. Yeah, for a while I was into World vs. World, so that was a little more meaningful. These days I may go back into it for stuff for legendaries, but like the idea of me ever being heavily invested in World vs. World again is not a thing. I don't like what they've done with the game mode. I understand that they thought they were doing good things for the game mode, but I think they were wrong. And I think World vs. World now is unrecognizable in terms of what it once was. They don't look like the same thing at all. Two different games. Unfortunate. Okay, Hior, I know you're probably busy with, like, the augmented wavehawks, but
Your lifesaver,
I did what you
Commander.
asked.
And right on time, too. I just saw Melissa get back to her tent a minute ago.
I just want you to know, Hior, I'm going to continue to call her Melitza. Should we do this event? It's like not quite halfway through. Where did that guy go? Oh, he's there. He's just not... He's doing less damage than I am, and I'm not doing a whole lot of damage.
I feel good.
Oh, but now we got a writ here, so all the damage. Yeah, I barely landed any hits. Alrighty. Where'd Melissa go? That should be enough to get us credit. Melitza. What's up?
This is a welcome surprise. Is there something I can help you with, Commander?
Historian Melissa, I'm familiar with your work. You're our resident seer expert.
What passes for one? We still know so little about them. What we've learned here so far already surpasses everything we knew before.
I'm trying to figure out what they were doing here that the Inquest are so interested in. Any ideas?
Well, we're still working on that, unfortunately. But I have a map of some of the locations we haven't had a chance to excavate yet. You can probably gather them quicker than I would, but I'm happy to tell you everything I can about them once you do.
Yes. Yes, let's do a collection. Okay. Clearly I'm being sarcastic in terms of my enthusiasm for this collection, but if I had got a green bar, I would have been saltier about it. Alright. Oh, should we... Let's go kill the champ, because it's worth the time investment to get, like, the advancement on... the advancement on our masteries. Oh, I thought I switched to hammer. Apparently I did not.
I feel good. Clear the air. Strength of the path.
Power bondage, things are heating. Careful not to slip.
Wither. Rip 'em up.
Alright, cool. Now what we need to do is run around all over the place and complete this collection, right? So here's the collection. All these things. Most of these I was able to get based off their descriptions on my first playthrough, before finally getting frustrated, and I might have even wikied like the last one or two. Alright, let's see. We're over on Crumbling Precipice. There is one literally like where we're standing right now. Oh, that's probably step one. There's one right here? Here. Alright, let's head there. Yeah, presumably that the first thing on the map was Scholar Melitza. I wanted to grab that palm tree, but we got a collection to finish. We'll have to grab palm trees later. Oh, another one. Oh, okay. We'll get it. Seems like the responsible thing to do. Oh, we didn't even get any map currency. For shame. Okay. Let's take a look at where the next one is. We got one to the north... west? Now, I don't think I can see the mirrors on this account yet, which is kind of a shame. I'm looking forward to that. Although I'm not sure we'll even get it during this playthrough. Unless I play more on other characters on this account. Because, well, I don't know. Let's take a look. Actually, is it the... It might be the mastery we're working on right now, actually. Come on. Oh, I'm bleeding. Alright, the next one is... Right... where that prisoner is. Alright, let's check that mastery. Let's see. Are we working on the mirror one right now? Used to open obscure chest. I don't think so. I think it's this. Oh no, it is this one. Okay, cool. So we will have it during this playthrough because pretty much our next story step should just about finish the experience part for us. Not quite, but I might work on unlocking the elite specs on a couple more characters on this account later on. So that there's that process actually helps out with experience, like for your masteries, a bit. I don't want to say a significant amount. I think that would be an exaggeration, but a bit. Okay. Let's see here. Next, there's one right over about here, it looks like. So I'm using the map to make the video fast. Or faster. Nothing fast about me, but faster. And also, because I've done this once already on my main account. But I would never fault anyone for getting to this point and immediately going straight to the wiki in the interest of just getting the collection done as quickly as possible. And I think if you were to do that, then it would really mitigate this conversation about the collection. If you enjoy collections, then you're probably not going to do that because you enjoy collections and you're probably going to try and feel it out and see if you can, you know, find all these things and so forth. If you don't like collections, then just use the map. And this is like a 10-minute thing with a map, if that, and then you can continue on in the story. Now watch, I say it's like 10 minutes and there'll be one of these that I'll be like truly unable to find or something even with a map. We'll see. Alright, what's next? Way down under Tranquil Glen. Can we fit through here? We can. Nice. That feels good, by the way. It feels good to be able to run under and around and through things. Even before mounts, areas that would let you do that felt good. That's a fun navigation thing. So as ArenaNet has moved more and more into like complex environments from like the base game, which didn't have a lot of complex environments, that has been like a pleasant thing, right? Alright, let's see. We got one down here. Then I'll have to see what we're missing, because I think we'll still be missing one or two, but we're just about there. The map is numbered. I got the map from, in this particular case, the first thing I found on Google was Ann Maiden's website. It's a pretty good map. Like, it's fine. It's just that the symbols for where these are on her map are actually a tiny bit small. So a little bit of a challenge here. Okay, we're still looking for 7 and 9. I see where 9 is. Where's 7? Mysterious. Okay, let's Right there, and then we're missing a trick somewhere. We'll have to see if we can scope that up. But yeah, I do appreciate that she had that map on her website. To be honest, the website I hadn't been on before. I'd seen plenty of her videos, video guides, of course. Some folks make good guides. You know, you can go all the way back to Dolphy when a lot of stuff was available on Dolphy. And even that far back, I feel like Aeon Maiden's been around for a long time in terms of Guild Wars 2. And has been, you know, helpful. We're missing the ruined baggage. Just north of Tranquil Glen, I think is the one I missed. Yeah, for sure. It's like right... No. Yes. Right here. Alright. That's not far away.
Ancient, hundreds of years old, maybe more. Its roots grow deep. At least, they did.
They really struck a nice balance in this expansion with the audio. Where there is some ambient audio, like what we're getting right now. That's nice. Although, wow. Diorian is kind of going on a bit. But in general... Okay, now we're getting more. Alright, as soon as I say they struck a nice balance with audio, we're kind of assaulted by a bunch of audio. But it has been better than past expansions, where generally you're not getting overwhelmed. You're only getting little bits at a time. Just enough to keep things from going, and in the story as well. Like the part where Saida and Kanak were talking during the fight, that has been a rarity in this expansion versus kind of the norm, where in both Soto and Janthier Wilds, it was really common for a lot of different audio to be overlapping each other, and for it to be a point of frustration for a lot of people. Alright, Milica. I think I found everything. I'm sorry I don't have more to tell you, Commander. Unfortunately, archaeology just takes time. Would you like me to run down what I've learned, at least? Sure. Couldn't hurt. Well, the Seers were a very magically aligned culture, and there's evidence that their creations surpass anything we've seen since. Prior to Castora, we assumed none of it had survived. But here, evidence of it abounds, and what we found suggests a culture focused on ascending higher and higher. They seem to have elevated their culture to a religious level of reverence, even. Interesting. And here on Castora, we're seeing signs that there was already a hierarchy of ascension within the culture as well. They allude to a path to the highest level, walked only by the most deserving. And what was at the end of it? Well, that's the big question, isn't it? But whatever it was, Castora was the center of it, and they abandoned this place entirely, rather than let anyone else have it. Really makes you think. It does, indeed.
This is incredible, Commander. I could spend the rest of my life studying just what you brought me. But as a quick assessment, a lot of these seem to be ritual objects, totems and the like, suffused with magic. Castora must have had a deep religious significance to them. But the specifics will take time to tease out.
It sounds like an answer isn't going to be that easy, then.
It seems unlikely, but I promise to report anything I can uncover quickly. Oh, one more thing, Commander. If you wouldn't mind asking Ascarin if he could talk with me for a bit. I'd love to pick the brain of an actual seer to help me put this all together.
So would I.
Ah, yeah. Still no comms with Isgarin, right? And so now they're kind of really driving that home in the story. It's been kind of an ongoing thing, and now they really want for the player to really, like, you know, oh yeah, Isgarin is still avoiding us, right? Saida. Oh, you know, actually, before we talk to Saida, there was extra dialogue with Milica that I did want to get. Oh, and it's not available anymore. I didn't realize that doing the story dialogue first would void the other dialogue, which was about Shadowstone, which we saw on the crab, and the commander immediately knew what it was, but I don't recall it being in the story before this expansion, and we just don't have much to work with on Shadowstone, but okay. Saida.
Learned anything useful?
Nope.
More confirmation that the Seers were doing something significant here, but not much about what it was.
We've beaten around it for long enough, Commander. It's time to find Isgarin and make him give us some answers.
I think that's probably fair on the part of.
It's urgent. And now what? Deal with it.
Alright, so the commanders once again tried to get in touch with Isgarin, failed. I think, you know, Saida's lines there are probably like appropriate and make sense that, you know, it's time to push Isgarin a little bit more. And so, presumably, when we come back, because this is, you know, once we get wrapped up with this event and stuff, then we're going to be about done with this video. When we come back next time, though, presumably that's exactly what we're going to be doing, right? Particularly now, I think we got most of the errands that we had to run for people out of the way. I don't think we have any more collections. For some reason, I initially remembered 3 collections, but now I think maybe it's only 2. This guy's colors are weird, man. It's something to do with the lighting. That's weird to see when you're running into camp. But he's wearing a white wizard's outfit thing. And then the light from the fire reflecting off the earth makes it look like he's dressed like this guy. Camp getting pretty crazy. Crazy place to be. Alright. None of that had anything to do with anything, and unfortunately it's in the video now, so we're just gonna have to live with it. Alright, let's find a spot to end video. Oh, you know what? There. Let's do it over here. Oh, we don't have that mastery point yet anyway, so we will just grab this. And wrap up right here. So, thank you for joining me for this part of the adventure. We have not come any closer to understanding what Vlox wants. In fact, we didn't come closer to much of anything this particular video, to be honest. We ran a bunch of errands, which ultimately are intended to get us to the point where we can understand what Vlox might be after. What we have actually gained is an understanding that that's probably seer magic, and that there's a particular artifact that he wants. We're trying to get in touch with Isgarin to find to find out what he might know about this. Does he know what artifact this might be? Thus far, Isgarin is avoiding us. So when we come back, we're going to hunt down Isgarin. We're going to find out what Vlox might be after, and we're going to move towards the conclusion. I don't know if it'll be in the next video or the one after that, where we wrap things up for this release, but we're going to get to the bottom of Vlox's aspirations and seer magic and how this all ties together. So thank you for joining me on this little adventure, and I look forward to seeing you next time.